Hey guys, Doug the Retirement Guy here. Got a great new family video for you. It's going to be some exciting information for you. But before we get into that, I want to thank everyone who's a subscriber to the channel, and especially all the ones that keep this channel alive through the Patreon support. If you're not able to support the channel, hit the subscribe. It helps us grow. If you can help support the channel, hit that Patreon button down in the description, and you can join for free, or you can actually join for a small little donation. Either one works, and we love it both sides. Let me give you guys a little background of what's happening here. My brother Chuck has his own YouTube channel. It's called Filament Friday. Basically, he's been doing it for a little over 10 years. And if it's anything you want to know about 3D printing, from designing your own little cup holder for your chair, or if you want to have a printer, or you have a printer now and you got questions and issues of how to fix things, print heads, so on, he's there to answer the stuff. He does all the how-to stuff all the way through it. He's even built giant size, man-sized Lego blocks. So very, very huge thing there. But he came to me and he says, look, every time I clean a garage or anything I clean out of the house, or some of the stuff we've done here, he says, I've made 3D prints and sold them. He goes, I put money away into a separate little account. He goes, I just realized that the account is getting too big. That's almost $50,000 in the account. He goes, so if you could take and do a challenge, what would you do? How to invest for long-term gains of a $50,000 investment. And as my brother, so I said, sure, I'll take on your challenge. I will more than willing to do that. So we kind of had a sideline just saying, hey, figure out what you want, go from there. So if any of you want, I'll put a link in the description down below for his channel so you can see what he's doing. And then you can always talk to him and say, hey, what did your brother do for you? But let's get into show you what we actually did. Notice to all viewers, past performance does not guarantee future results. The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It should not be considered financial or investment advice. The examples and suggestions discussed are illustrative and may not be suitable for all individual situations. Always consult a licensed financial advisor or a professional before making any financial decisions. So here's the challenge that Chuck threw at me. He says, here, take the $50,000 and I want you to earn $334 a month. Now, here's the stippler. Invest in stock or funds that are over 3 years old. It must have a positive growth of over 1 year and has to generate a minimum of 8% yearly in income in dividends. And I thought, well, this could be tough, and how we're going to do it. So the first thing I started doing is research, because the 3-year claim takes away the weeklies. Instantly, I could have said, no problem, I could do this with my blindfold. YMAX, ULTY, MSTY, MST, all of them are well over 8%. They're all probably an average of about 50% plus. Be perfect, but they're less than 3 years old. He does not want to invest into the new trend, the new items. He goes, I don't want this money to go away. I just want this money to sit and generate money for me. I said, okay, that's a toughie. Since the tariffs, and I didn't think this one would be as hard as it actually was, since the tariffs of April 2nd makes it extremely tough, because originally I was going to go with the SPYI, set it, forget it, done, 30 seconds, I'm in, I'm out, I won the challenge, history. Well, SPYI has not recovered yet from the April 2nd tariff program, so they're still down. So now I'm really got to say, I got to do more research. We got to do a lot more thinking about this, but we did it. So our first fund that we found, we did here, was SDIV, the Global X Super Dividend ETF. Now this fund came out in June of 2011, so it's well over that 3-year mark. So I got a first check. Now this fund here basically is an equal weight index of 100 global securities with high yields. So this one's going to give you some good dividend payouts. And when we look at the chart, we see it did drop off in April, but man, did it rocket back up out of that. So it was a time to buy. So you look at the performance of 5 days, it's at a 0.5% increase. 1 month, 6% increase. Year to date, it's up 14.69%. And 1 year, 3.5%. it checks all the boxes. It does everything that he's asked for. So we got the 1 year growth. We got the 3 years of being in existence. Now the question is, what is the super dividend going to do for dividends? And I'll tell you straight out, this is what I love the best. Look at this chart. Look at what it does. And this thing is so strong, and it's straight, it's flat. And for me, this is what you want in a dividend. You want just a flat, straight piece that you can count on, 19 cents each and every month per share, and just set it and forget it and be done. So the annual performance of this is $2.32. It's paying at 19 cents per month, a dividend of 9.81%, and it pays monthly. So right there, all three checks, I could stop and say we're done, set, forget, walk away, win. But I didn't want to do that to him because I wanted to make sure that we had a nice balance across the board. In case SDIV takes a little blip here or there, we can recover and cover our growth area. So let's take a look at the next fund I said that we need to put into this. And that is going to be the DVYE, which is iShares Emerging Markets Dividend. Now this one launched in 2012, so we're well over that 3-year mark already, issued by BlackRock. And this one does high dividend paying emerging market companies. So when we look at the chart on this one, same thing. It had a dip in April. It's come back already, back to almost to its top marks for the year. And we look at this, 5 days, 0.20, 1 month, 2.39%, year to date, 12% gain, and 1 year, 5% growth. So again, we hit 2 out of the 3 with no problem. And now we got to take a look at their dividends. Well, we look at the dividends. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Look at the lines all over the place. It's up, it's down, it's sideways, it's banking all over the place. This is not always what I'm comfortable with in a dividend thing. I love it's paying that 68 cents, but here's the kicker. It pays quarterly. Now, there is no rules in this challenge. There are nothing written about that it has to be paid monthly. Me personally, I love weeklies. I love monthlies. I like to get my money. I like to go spend my money, and I like to reinvest my money. On a quarterly, I have to wait 3 months, 90 days to get it. So I'm not as big of a fan for it. But in the rules, there was nothing about this. So the annual dividend, $3.09, 25 cents per month on an average, and the yield is 10.63%. So we got some extra room in there above his numbers. So again, we have all 3 checked in 2 funds. Awesome type deal. But I continued. I want something more, and I'll show you here what I was talking about. We put in Gladstone Capital Corporation. They are a BDC. And if you know what that is, that's a business development company. And basically what a BDC is, think of them as a bank. For the bigger, larger companies, middle market companies, someone that you're not going to go walk into your local little branch, sit down with your branch manager and say, I would like $10 million, please. You're not going to get that. With these guys, though, you're going to get them. They build strategies. They work with companies how to refinance their debts, how to take senior term loans, revolving loans. They do a lot of work with that. And there's a big tax advantages of being a BDC. By basically if they pay out 90% of their net profits, they can help out with their tax side of it. So they pay out big dividends. So this one here came out in 2001, so we're well over that 3-year mark. Again, had that April drop off, and it's recovered very well from that point. So you're looking at 3.55% in 5 days, 10% in 1 month, 2.92% year to date, and 21.25% over the past 12 months. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking to give him some big, strong growth in case something happens with any other funds. We can get growth off of this marketplace. So right there, I got 2 out of the 3, got some decent growth at 21%. We take a look at the dividend, and right off the bat, perfect. This is, again, flat line. This is the only way I ever don't want to see a flat line is when I'm in the hospital. When it comes to my dividends, I love seeing this. I love seeing this. I got a steady flow coming in. So when we look at it, the performance, $1.98 in dividends, 16.5 cents average per month, 6.77% yield, and it pays monthly. Now, stipulation. 6.77 is below the 8-month program. So as Meatloaf would say, hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? Well, I looked at the rules again. There was no rules stating that I had to have every fund at 8%. So what I thought we could do is, I got some at 10 already. We can do a cost average. We can average out our dividend mark, because I want to make sure he has that growth. So when you're building a portfolio, you want to make sure you have good growth, normally something above inflation rate, with dividend payoff, which is the money that you're going to take and pay bills or enjoy life with. So our next one we put in is another BDC, which is Main Street Capital, and they came out in 2007. This one is a rocket. If someone does not have this in their portfolio, I'm telling you, you guys have missed out. You're really missing the boat. This thing is 4.5% growth in 5 days, 12% in 1 month, 11% year to date, and 1 year, 29.14% growth rate. This is phenomenal. And again, it checks the marks. Now we look into the dividends. This one gives you a little different pattern, straight as an arrow across the board with little blips all the way through. And they're just slowly every month they pump up a little extra, and they're doing it by what comes in from the profits of the company. So when we look at this, we got an average of 25 cents per month, paying $4.20 annually, a 6.46 dividend, and it pays monthly. Again, the Meatloaf rule, 2 out of 3. We're going to use the average again because you didn't put it in the rules. Our final fund that we're going into is the PNNT, which is Pennant Park Investment Corporation. It's another BDC. If you're not involved in BDCs, you should have a segment of your portfolio just designated for BDCs. I would not put, I've told you before, you don't put everything in one basket. You spread yourself out. This one came out 2007. And again, look at what it's done. It took a drop in April, and it's come out of the April fairly strong. And there's a reason why we want to have this one in our portfolio. Now, performance-wise, 1.95% growth in 5 days, 1 month, 8.62%, year-to-date, 310, and 1 year, 1.39%. So the numbers aren't super strong, but here's where we're going to continue on. Everything still fits our 2 buckets. We look at the dividends. The dividends, back to the same thing again, straight lines, and pays 96 cents annually, 8 cents per month, with a dividend yield of 13.14%. So this one does everything that he asked for, 8% dividend, 1 year growth, 3 years, but we're able to use this with a nice solid piece because the price of this fund is going to be lower with that 13% dividend. So let's take a look at the portfolio. And when we do this, we're looking at it as SDIV at 9.3% in dividend, paying monthly with a 2.32% growth and a 13.39% year to date. Very solid piece. Same thing with DVYE. Unfortunately, that only pays quarterly, so I'm not real big fond of that one. But we take the Gladstone and the Maine and add that to it, and you see some decent growth numbers of 6% per year. And that's definitely well above inflation. And then you take PNNT with that big 13% dividend and some decent growth as well. I think we got some winners. So when we put this together, performance, we have a 1 year growth average of 4.05. So we're well above inflation rates on that one. We get a year-to-date growth so far of 12.98%. So they actually do better as the market continues. Dividend, 9.04%. So we've kind of beaten every one of his check marks that he's asked for. So what we did is now we put this into full operation. We take the money and we invest it. Now, when I put the money into it, I did not do it equally. And there's a reason for it. SDIV, I feel very comfortable with that one of being a steady performer. I don't like the quarterly, so DVYE got shorted. But between GLAD, Maine, and PNNT, I believe that's an equal balance across the board. Now you look at PNNT, we were able to buy over 1,500 shares because of the low price that we purchased at. So when we get down to it, And here's the thing, the performance in just 2 months, we have added $4,409 or 8.81% in growth. The dividends paid out $831 already. And the dividend yield is at 9.97 or $415 a month. So we have crushed every one of the goals that he's asked for. So the 50,000 challenge, we did it. We hit every one of his 3 targets that he asked for, and we're giving him performances that he never even thought he could get. So with all that, guys, we just show you that if you take and have a plan, have a goal, and attack it with some nice research, you can do the same thing with any money that you have invested. Guys, this is Doug, the Retirement Guy. I hope you liked the video. Give us a thumbs up if you did. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. And I know you guys are going to comment about this. You're probably going to have 3 or 4 or 5 different funds that you'd rather see it into. But if they can fit all in that criteria, I'll send it to them and say, hey, maybe we need to make a change. But other than that, guys, we like everything we're doing, and we really appreciate you. We'll catch you next time.